Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining me for your WWE live review of WWE Raw. Thank you for joining us on Graps TV with the Sicko Show. I'm your host, the Matty Man. Still don't have anybody in here just yet, so we're going to wait just a couple of minutes. I don't want to start and then have people come in on the tail end of it, but you know, hey, if that happens, it happens. That's fine. How's everybody's day going so far? I had an interesting evening last night, but that's neither here nor there. And, I'm starting this show off here for real. I do my best when I'm in public not to be tribal about WWE, not to be really that. I can actually appreciate a lot of what WWE does without bowing the knee to the product. And that's a lost art. As we go through this review today, I'm going to be covering some things. I'm going to be a little bit passionate about it. I'm going to be a little surgical. We've decided that I'm not going to do any red lights. The only news out there right now is the possibility that the Lucha Brothers may leave AEW and go to WWE. And if they do, hey, you know what? One of them's already said it's going to be his last contract. One of them's already said that's where they want to retire. So you know what? If that's what you want to do, go for it. Absolutely go for it. I'm happy for you. And I think most AEW people would be happy for you. You got that little pocket of people who are like, oh no, we're losing it, we're losing it. One thing I will echo, though, without question, without hesitation, or mental reservation, I was in a podcast last night, or a show for the Covalent TV, and they brought up a very important point that, number one, we're not 100% sure this is done. It's not done until it's done. Number two, if it is done, thanks for the memories. Number three, if this actually does happen, I agree this is going to be a black eye on Tony. I have to agree that's a black eye on Tony. We'll just have to eat it and go on. I like watching the Lucha Brothers. If you've never seen the Lucha Brothers in action, go back and look at some of their older stuff and then compare it to what's going to happen when they get to WWE, and you be the judge. So, you know, it's not necessarily like a belly aching process. It's more like we've already seen the product, guy. Have you seen the product? Sorry, I'm still sneezing. And we're under a flood warning here and a tornado watch, so if I disappear, it's because, you know, it is what it is. That withstanding, yeah, I'm not my usual energetic self today, and I get it, and I understand that part of it too. Had a rough night last night, which I'm not going to go into detail, but it's one of those things where, guys, yes, I am older. And I'm older because I did all my stupid shit that in a spot where you can't see it. Because we didn't have the internet. Excuse me, I'm sorry. We're going to get surgical today. Screw all this shit. We're going to get surgical. I'm going to give you a review, and I'm going to get surgical on Raw because it's long overdue. I have tried my dead level best to try to present this material in two different lights, to sort of get you an understanding of where everybody else is coming from and maybe create some kind of understanding, because I am actually able to look at a product as a fan, and I'm also able to look at the product as an analyst. You know what? That fan shit, it's gone. And the reason it's gone is because I didn't realize this, but there are a lot of people that are caught in what I call the Fed Walker bubble. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if ignorance is bliss, there should be more happy people in this world, but there's not. So here we are. Anyway, we're going to kick off this review, and this is going to go real fast, so if you don't jump in, you're going to miss it. So get in where you fit in. If you can hear me, if I've got viewers anywhere, any way, shape, form, fashion, whatever, jump on in now. Jump on. Come on. So we open up with a Monday Night Raw staple, which is, of course, a recap of SummerSlam, because it was 2 whole days ago and you probably forgot what was happening. Most of us didn't, but some people did. So we needed a recap of that, and then we get Ludwig Kaiser introducing Gunther as the new World Heavyweight Champion and actually rocking a suit. Gunther lists off his resume and says this title and company have deserved more for a long time. He's above everyone in the ring, and no one can catch him off guard because he is greatness personified. And from this day forward, Raw and the greatness of this legacy belong to him. And here's Randy Orton out to interrupt Gunther, to where he says, well, that caught me off guard. Orton thinks the title looks good on his German. God damn, man, are you fucking... Are you fucking flirting with this guy or what? Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, seriously, what kind of conversation does 2 full grown-ass men have? Wow, that belt looks really good on your big German shoulders. Yeah, no. Anyway, after all the flirting and everything else there, he says, but did you really beat me at the King of the Ring? Huh? I don't know, did he? Who knows? Who knows? Did he really beat him? Yeah, I mean, yeah, his shoulders were down, not down, and I get it. And I remember the King of the Ring just like everything else. It was, you were sitting there thinking to yourself, they're setting up a Randy and Gunther match. We just don't know when, where, or how. And sure enough, we're going to get that bullshit right here at, what is it? Berlin getting bashed, or Bash at Berlin, or something like that. Yeah, Bash at Berlin. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. So we're going to get that matchup, Bash at Berlin. Whew. The mic is dropped and Gunther says nothing, including the RKO catches him off guard. Orton actually says Orton actually says he wants Gunther to see it coming. Anyway, I'm really trying, guys. I'm really trying. You know what? I've never... what boxing match do you see? Yeah, I agree with all this, and that's why I'm calling it out. What what fight have you ever been in where you're like, no, man, no, I want you to see it coming? No. Anyway, I give up. So that segment's over with. Sheamus is to face Ludwig Kaiser, and of course, they go straight into the brawl on the floor before the bell, before Kaiser slaps him in the face in the corner. The exchange of chops goes to Sheamus, but Kaiser goes to the knee to take him down. The Regal Roll, Kaiser's bad ribs, etc., etc., etc. Sheamus wins this thing in spite of. The match goes 11 minutes, 19 seconds. I'm calling this out for a reason. The Irish Curse sets up white noise, and we hit a clover leaf, sending Kaiser over the ropes. The 10 beats of the battery, etc., etc. QP done for the distraction, etc., etc. In the middle of all this match. Sheamus, bruh. I think I said on my preview show and my prediction show that if you were going to keep Sheamus or Kaiser around, somebody needed a definitive win. Sheamus got the definitive win in this, at least I feel like he did. Then we get an original Wyatt family debuting video again, like we needed that. The Wyatt 6. I'm going to get into that one a little later on in the show. At this stage of the game, I have to really say, okay, we've got the drama kind of hyped up a little bit here, and obviously SummerSlam was not my best review because instead of reviewing it for what it was, I reviewed the drama, and I sincerely apologize for that. As a streamer, I should know better. But unfortunately, that shit just keeps coming back. It's like a case of syphilis. You can't get rid of it with a shot. The drama comes back. We have the original Wyatt family in the building. 11, no, 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 no. The Wyatt family debuted in July of 2012, and the way I know that is my dad literally died a few days before they debuted. That's why I have a marker for it. So they said they debuted 11 years ago. Let it ride. I don't give a shit. We got Damian Priest, who wastes no time exactly calling out Finn Balor for a beating. He's been on his own for most of his life, and the Judgment Day was his family. Now these people, the fans, are his family. Hang on just 1 second here. My phone decides to blow up here like 2 minutes into this stream. Figures. Anyway, okay, I lost my place here. Bear with me a minute. I'm coming back around. And losing made him feel like he disappointed them. Balor pops up on the screen saying that Priest betrayed the team. There wasn't supposed to be a leader, but then Priest won the title, etc., and trying to make himself the leader. A year ago, Balor lost at SummerSlam, and Priest told him to man up. Balor did just that at this year's SummerSlam, and now he's going to fight a loser from the streets. Oh, God, where have we heard this one before? You know, oh, God, where have we heard this before? Okay? Anyway, camera pulls back to reveal JD McDonough, JD McSquarehead, JD McBobblehead, however you want to call it, and Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan. Priest storms up the aisle to go stable hunting. We look at Pat McAfee. God, I can't even pronounce this guy's name today. Pat McAfee and Michael Cole failing at the Triple H water spit. Guys, unneeded, unnecessary. Bronson Reed comes around to see Adam Pearce, saying he should have a match tonight because he beat Sheamus last week, but he'll figure it out himself, and that sets up for later on. That takes us in back to live action. We got Lyra Valkyria versus Shayna Baszler. Oh, God. Sonya Deville and Zoe Stark are here with Baszler. Valkyrie gets her arm cranked as to start the match. Cole talks about Baszler's love of cooking soup. And we're back to the match. Baszler lifts her up by the arm. Valkyrie fights back with a gut-wrench powerbomb. Deville gets knocked off the apron. Nightwing connects, only for Stark to come in for the Dairy Queen at 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Post-match, the beatdown is on, but Damage Control runs to clean the villains out. The Final Testament's ready to end the New Day, and it's all Xavier Woods' fault for not taking the team up on their offers. Ivy Nile talks to the Creed brothers. Maxine Dupree interrupts him, saying the Creeds attacked Otis and Tozawa. Now tries to calm things down. Chad Gable comes in to make Nile leave. Then we have an upset CM Punk looking for a chat. Punk congratulates his friends on winning the UFC welterweight title. And yes, he lost on Saturday, but he's still happy. He's happy he hasn't been here in 10 years, but 10,000 people are still cheering for him. SummerSlam was not a guarantee, and neither was tonight, but the people don't like him because he won't stay down. Wow. People don't like him because he won't stay down. Got it. He was told he'd be out of action for 9 months, but he came back in 5. His road to WrestleMania started at SummerSlam, and it's still summer. Bear with me just a moment here. We have some thunders coming through here, and I don't want to lose you. So I'm going to throw up a window here for just a second, and I'll be right back. I've been sitting here talking on a dead mic for like a long time, and nobody chatted seriously. Really? Oh my goodness. It just hit me. Let me pick back up here again where I was. It means I got to pull some stuff out. Oh, let's see here. What we got? What we got? What we got? What we got? Let me get back to that whole thing. We have an upset CM Punk looking for a chat. Punk congratulates his friend on winning the UFC welterweight title. His road to WrestleMania started at SummerSlam. It's still summer. And et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These people deserve to see him fighting. Punk calls out Drew McIntyre, gets Seth Rollins. The set with Seth Rollins there, I'm backing up a little bit here. Either Seth Rollins has a movie coming or something to that effect, but they really, really like it. Was how many tsunamis were there? Somebody said 6. I counted like 9 or 10 personally. Shout out to Seth Rollins for taking that spot, because that was a hell of a spot. It's nothing like having a big dude flop on you, even if it is kayfabe. I mean, the dude flopped on him like 8, 9 times, and that's 300 pounds falling on you from 15 feet. That, you know what, shout out to him for that. I'm all down with that. I'm happy with it. I got to be honest, I marked out a little bit because maybe I'm not the biggest Seth Rollins fan that ever existed. But the match, shout out to Seth Rollins for that. Post-break, Punk asked Adam Pearce about McIntyre, but Pearce says he saw McIntyre leave. Not exactly true, not even remotely true. He said he sent him home. Authors of Pain versus New Day. I'll get a little surgical on this one to say that, let me hit all of the good stuff first. The fact of the matter that we got Odyssey Jones with a sidewalk slam with 2 300-pound men, that was a good spot. It was a good part of the segment. The glad handing, walking down here dressed out like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that shit's got to go, dudes. I mean, you're going to Netflix. Are you still going to be looking at kids? Is that still going to be your primary market? Is that what you're doing? If it is, excuse me, I'm sorry. Good on you. Good on you. You know, if you're going to stay true to your gimmick, that's fine and dandy. Quite frankly, I thought it was a clown show. Thank you, Odyssey Jones, for saving that segment. Here's where I'm going to get a little surgical, though. Something to understand and something to understand well. Razor and Akam are former UFC heavyweights. Now, the New Day has been primarily, and I say primarily because some of you may or may not know, Xavier Woods got his run to begin with in TNA. Just like Truth. Ron the Truth Killings got his start. He was an NWA heavyweight champion in TNA, the old TNA. Same thing with Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods got his start in TNA. So I've been watching Xavier Woods for a very long time. He's been a formula wrestler for forever, and there's nothing wrong with it. Hey, if formula pays the bills, get your money, get your paper. But he's a formula wrestler. And the believability factor of this, for me, was just not there. You mean to tell me that a couple of Matt guys, and basically relegated to curtain jerkers, can go one-on-one with 2 huge UFC guys? I just wasn't buying it. Anyway, New Day picks up the win with a small package. And, yeah, that was that. That was that. Post-match, the Authors of Pain beat on Woods, but Jones side slams both of them at the same time once again before dropping Karrion Kross again. Kingston's pleased, though Woods isn't as sure. He does shake the man's hand, though. JD McDonough swears revenge on Damian Priest, etc., escaping that. Back in the back, Kofi Kingston thanks Odyssey Jones again, and Jones is grateful to be on the team. Xavier Woods still isn't sure what's going on, But apparently Kingston and Jones have become friends at the Performance Center, and Kingston said the New Day needed some help. Woods still doesn't seem completely pleased, but to be fair, is he ever? I mean, that scowl thing. That's also, he gives him the side eye. So when you get the side eye in there, just sort of a sidebar, so to speak, that breakup's coming. That breakup's coming. A-Town Down Under versus Awesome Truth, which absolutely nobody asked for, but the match was absolutely hilarious because Truth makes a match really hilarious. Did we not just have a draft a couple of months ago and they were drafted to SmackDown and they said everybody was going to stay on brand? I mean, call me crazy. But anyway, R-Truth takes both of them down to start. It's a double drop kick. Both moves are Rock and Roll Express moves and a callback to SummerSlam. To send the villains outside as we take a break. Back with Waller and Theory. Missing their own double drop kick, allowing the tag to Miz. House cleaned, including the alternating yes kicks. Miz dives into Theory and hits the basement DDT for two. Truth tags himself in, tries the AA, swings Waller into Miz by accident, knocks Miz completely out of the ring. Oh boy, thank you, R-Truth. R-Truth has saved so many segments in WWE. He ought to have his own Arms of an Angel, like, just send $19 a month type shit going on. And that would be a cool ass vignette, by the way, R-Truth, and all the crazy shit that you throw out there on television. If you did an Arms of the Angel segment like, you know, they do for the puppies and shit like that, and just come around and say, you know how many segments I've saved on Raw, that would be hilarious. Now that right there would be comedy gold. You know it, I know it, and you know, hey, it is what it is. Somebody gets the word back to him. I think that would be funny. R-Truth actually makes a match more entertaining with what he does and how he does it. And I just think that's absolutely hilarious too. But anyway, yeah, R-Truth picks up the L. Miz gets up there to try to console him, etc., etc., and you know, then we go to another segment. Damian Priest said he never wanted JD McDonough in Judgment Day because no one but Finn Balor did. Tonight the pain is coming. Braun Breaker steps in, does a half-assed promo about his title. Says his name is on the Intercontinental title and no one can take it from him. In the meantime, he's sitting there bitching and moaning about people talking about their accolades before he turns around and talks about his accolades. All right, Damian Priest versus JD McDonough. Carlito's here with McDonough, who strikes away to start but gets kicked in the face for his efforts. A faceplant drops McDonough again, but a distraction lets him, I'm sorry, I can't even read my own handwriting today. I apologize, guys. But a distraction lets him stomp Priest down in the corner. Priest kicks McDonough outside, but gets distracted again, allowing McDonough to get in a few punches. McDonough's suicide dive connects, and we take a break. We come back with JD McDonough headbutting him down, setting up for a moonsault for two. Priest fights up and strikes away, including dropping Carlito, but Finn Balor runs in for the Dairy Queen at 9 minutes and 19 seconds. Post-match, the beatdown is on, but Priest fights up and is left alone with Balor. Cue Rhea Ripley chase Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan, with the latter getting caught and posted hard. Now, this is something I definitely want to talk about right here, because there's a lot of Liv detractors out there, and I have been one in the past. I'm not going to lie. I have had some detracting moments about Liv Morgan. But, young lady, I watched you eat that post, and you popped right back up with a smile. That's some badass shit right there. I don't care what anybody says about you going forward. Eating that post and popping up with that Liv Morgan smile, like when you were taking the beatdowns from Ronda Rousey, and you were smiling while you were tapping out, that's the Liv Morgan we need a whole lot more of. Forget all this sex kitten bullshit. That's the Liv Morgan that I would like to see, okay? Because that's just a fact. I mean, who would not want to see a sexy ass woman that can fight and throw down? That's, hey, count me in for that one. Then we get a review of Roman Reigns returning at SummerSlam. I'm going to just exit that. I'm just going to escape that because that's going to be on my SmackDown preview or my SmackDown review on Saturday along with my Collision review. Sonya Deville and company jump Damage Control, and we take out and they take out Dakota Kai's knee. I'm really hoping. In my preview show, in my prediction show, I said one thing, and I'm still sticking by it. I'm still standing on it. Dakota Kai is a very underappreciated, undervalued asset to WWE's roster. I wish I could quit sneezing. I really do. I don't know. Maybe it's just a thing. Maybe I'm allergic to the mic. Who knows? Dakota Kai is by far and away one of the stars of that. I would say Io Sky, but I can't understand her when she gets mad and starts spitting out Japanese. Okay? And on a side item, the Japanese heel thing is not working. Nobody understands you. Nobody's going to translate that shit. They should just go ahead and turn them face and leave it that way. That way you don't have to worry about it. We're just going to assume what you're saying in Japanese is cute, cuddly, and warm, and happy, and all that crap. When you got them as heels and they start screaming out in Japanese, you've lost the crowd. They're just cheering to be cheering. Yeah, this is awesome. And they don't even know what this is awesome is all about because they didn't understand half of what she said. I don't either. I will translate it later on, but, you know, it's just one of those things. That's why I've never liked them as heels in the beginning, because you can't do heel shit. Nobody understands Japanese heel shit. They're cheering to be cheering. And that's a fact. Okay? But anyway, I really hope Dakota Kai is legit hurt and that's what it is, and this is not an excuse to write her off before she gets to a contract and decides to go somewhere where they will appreciate her. I legitimately don't hope she's injured, but I would rather her be injured in this situation than having to deal with this stupidity. She's a very underappreciated, very underrated talent. And WWE is synonymous with pushing who they want to push and not who the fans want. So with that being said, hey, Dakota, I hope you're happy. I hope you're healthy. That's all I got to say. And I was very upset that they kept her off television, because I actually said in my prediction thing that if you're not going to keep her, just go ahead and that was just not the right way to look at it, because what did they do? They wrote her off. They wrote her off with an injury. But we get Io Sky versus Sonya Deville. Both of their associations are on the floor. Deville starts fast, misses a basement clothesline as McAfee confuses Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Yeah, there's a shocker. The fight heads to the floor where Sky is sent into the steps as we take a break. Back with Sky fighting out of trouble and getting two off a roll-up. A dragon screw leg whip takes Deville down and into a missile dropkick. Deville runs her over for a 2 count, but Sane is back up as well. Io Sky's back up as well. Damage Control hits big dives off of the same corner, setting up the over the moonsault to finish Deville at 7 minutes and 12 seconds. And yeah, after that we got another Wyatt 6 video, this time on Joe Gacy, who thinks he's Huskus the Pig Boy. He's a bit out there. Yeah, that was a note that I had on there. It was a good segment. It was a good segment. I'm happy that Joe Gacy is not buried anymore. I got to say that. I'm happy Joe Gacy's not buried anymore, as far as what I'm trying to find in positives here. Ilya Dragunov can drag it. Ilya Dragunov congratulates Sami Zayn on being a great champion. Zayn says Dragunov will be a great champion one day. But here's Jey Uso, God, to give Zayn a pep talk. The rematch for the title is next week, and then they can win the oh God, not again. They can win the tag titles. We get another Wyatt 6 video, and then it's on to Chad Gable and the Creed brothers versus the Wyatt 6. For the main event, if you're just now popping in here, we have 9 viewers. I'm very happy with that. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you for sticking with me. Thank you for staying around. I figured this was going to be a short stream. We're only at 38 minutes, and, you know, we're going to hit probably like 45 minutes, and I'm going to be done with this thing. Chad Gable, Creed brothers versus the Wyatt 6. Lights go out, and a rocking chair pops up with the lantern. The Wyatts come out for a brawl, and the fans approve. Even as Loomis takes over on Julius to start, it's off to Gacy to clean house, including a belly-to-back neck breaker on Julius. A pull of Gacy's hair brings Rowan in to clean house, and we take a break. Back with Gable hitting the top rope moonsault for 2. Julius fights up and hands it off to Rowan, and hands it to Rowan to clean house. This match was crazy, guys, okay? Bottom line is this. The Wyatt 6 pick up the victory. They do. They pick up the victory, and it was clean. My moment on this one right here. Thank you. We have another viewer. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm gonna talk a little frankly on this particular match, and I'm not shitting on the Wyatt 6. For once, I want y'all to just listen to me for just a minute. I'm not shitting on the Wyatt 6. They put it together. They look good in the ring. And they looked like a cohesive unit. I'm dead serious. We could see flaws, we could see weaknesses, we could see strengths, we could see everything in them. And it's credit where credit's due. I agree. I agree with Covalent TV on this. They were the ones talking about this last night. I listen to a lot of people to help form my opinion on things because I don't want to feel like I'm standing here giving you just my opinion. But I'm going to get surgical on this one real quick. I'm going to get surgical on these 2 matches. There's 2 matches I want to get surgical on. The Wyatt 6 match and the one with Shayna Baszler. Because I said last night, and I mean this and I stand on this, Josh Barnett has a promotion with GCW, and they call it Bloodsport. Now they've been sending Shayna Baszler out to that for Bloodsport. That's what WWE's been sending out there. This past Bloodsport, they sent the Creed brothers and Shayna Baszler, and they tore the house down. The problem is they tore the house down with 3 of the elite GCW people. Then they come back on Raw the very following week, and they shit their mess kit. Now, I like promotional sharing. I really do. I like it when TNA brings things up. I like it when WWE sends their people to TNA. I like it a lot. What I don't like is when they insist that you feed up their premier people, Jordan Grace, to get absolutely hammered by the WWE talent, and there's no 50-50 booking coming back. And if I had one criticism of the entire operation here, in essence, you lost to a crew that a year ago, one of them was a security guard, one was getting buried by Dijak, who didn't even get television time before he got released on Raw. Then you had Eric Rowan, who actually deserved every bit of praise, every accolade. He deserved all of that shit. But if you're going to send people down there and do something like that, it's incredibly disingenuous to bring them back to your main roster and have them basically job out. And Josh Barnett, a real man won't let that happen again. And no, that's not a sound effect. That's how bad the weather is out here. I'm trying to do a stream in the middle of a hurricane, LOL. Highlights of the night for me were, like I said, Liv Morgan eating that post. I mean, I didn't look at that like how she got her come up and see. I looked at that from a standpoint of the amount of skill it took to pull that spot off and come up with a smile. Liv Morgan, you were a star in that segment. Another moment of the night, the Wyatt Six. I really hope that WWE keeps producing it this way. That's why I said, you know, praise where praise is due, but it's apprehensive praise because I just don't know how long they're going to keep this thing going on. Overall, though, from a fan perspective, I said I wasn't going to do this anymore, but, you know, people are actually showing up watching the show. You're giving me a piece of your time. The best way I can do that is to respect it back. If I were rating this show, the highest I could go from a fan perspective would be like 5 out of 10. From an analytical perspective, I won't even give a rating on it because it would just piss people off and you wouldn't come back. From an analytical perspective, this was not a wrestling night. This was a drama night, again. And for those of you who say, oh no, we want promo segments and spots on television and we want wrestling in our PLEs, you got 48% wrestling in your PLE. 52% of it was talking. That's facts. There's stats for that. Tonight, you got roughly 48 minutes of wrestling in 3 hours. So roughly 66% of that was nothing but talking, spots, and vignettes. And even in your pleas now, your PLEs, 52% of the PLE was talking. The problem with that is not necessarily, oh, you just don't like it when they do promos. You don't like the way... No, it's not that I don't like the promos. I watch WWE, but I watch it because I review it. Plain and simple. Both Braun Breaker and Randy Orton stepped all over their own promos. That's what happens when you let people talk and talk and talk and talk and talk. There's no telestrator out there. So these guys got to go in there in front of everybody and they got to wing it. Here's the subject. Here's where we want to get. Here's how I need you to get there. Now go on out there and give it to us. The problem is when you continually use that formula, you're putting a lot on people. And for everybody that says Mercedes Moné can't carry a mic, after about the first minute, you're correct. Because promos should not be that long. It shouldn't be a diatribe. We're not looking for a soliloquy. Tell me what's going on, tell me what you plan to do, and then get the hell out of the ring and fight. I mean, Randy Orton is like, well, I'm a legend. I'm a living legend, but I'm also a legend killer. What the fuck? And Braun Breaker gave his, like, basic Steiner math promo, except he just inserted the Intercontinental title. So when I say, you know, a little less talk, a little more action, there's a reason behind it. I'm not bitching because they're cutting promos. If that's your style, that's your style. I'm bitching because they let them stand in there and talk way too long, and they step all over their fucking promo. And it's annoying. Randy Orton stepped all over his fucking promo. And he should have ate Gunther alive. He should be able to out-talk Gunther easily. He should be able to just totally pack that son of a bitch up and send him crying. Braun Breaker grew up in a wrestling household. Like, dad was a wrestler, uncle was a wrestler, and he should be able to cook. He's got a 20-year head start on 90% of the... God, come on! So you see, I don't have a problem with the promos. Talk all you want, just make it make sense. And I don't think that's too much to ask for. And that's what I wanted to clear the air on here at the end of this stream. Overall, the show, from a fan perspective, as a fan, I would give this show 5 out of 10. With the moment of the night being Liv taking that corner post shot, and the post down for me, the actual post down of the Wyatt Six was also a moment. My dad was a big fan of Wyatt's, and literally he died 3-4 days before they actually debuted, which is why I really understand dates on that. I'm not being pessimistic. I'm being realistic about it. But anyway, if you've stayed this long, I really appreciate all of you. Viewers mean the world to me. They really do. All of you mean the world to me. So with that said, I'm going to jump out of here, and good night, America, wherever you are. I'll see you tonight for the NXT stream. But for right now, take care.